Have you ever imagined being an intergalactic diplomat negotiating peace among alien races? Picture yourself navigating the stars, bridging worlds with words, and ensuring the fragile balance of the galaxy remains intact. Welcome to Intergalactic Diplomat, where the fate of countless worlds hangs in the balance.
The galaxy was on the brink of all-out conflict. The Orion Confederacy and the Zircon Union were at odds over the newly discovered, resource-rich planet Xantheon. Jareth Kord, a renowned intergalactic diplomat, was tasked with mediating between these two powerful factions. Failure meant plunging the galaxy into chaos and war. Jareth Kord stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council Station, a massive structure orbiting the tranquil blue planet of Serenia. The station itself was a marvel of engineering, a fusion of architectural styles from various civilizations that made up the Galactic Council. Its halls were adorned with intricate mosaics, holographic art displays, and statues of past diplomats who had forged peace across the stars. His aide, Lena Morell, approached with a datapad in hand. Jareth, the latest reports from Xantheon are in. The situation is deteriorating rapidly. Both the Orions and Zircons have mobilized fleets near the planet. Jareth nodded, his expression grim. We have no time to lose, Lena. Arrange a meeting with the Orion and Zircon delegations. We need to start negotiations immediately. As they made their way to the Grand Council chamber, Jareth couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. The chamber was a vast circular room with a domed ceiling that displayed a panoramic view of the galaxy. Delegates from various species filled the seats, their faces a mix of curiosity and concern. The council speaker, a serene holographic entity, floated to the center of the room. Ambassador Kord, the council trusts you to mediate this conflict. The fate of many worlds rests on your shoulders. Jareth stepped forward, addressing the assembly. Esteemed delegates, I am honored to serve the council. We are faced with a grave challenge, but I believe that through diplomacy and mutual respect, we can find a path to peace. The Orion delegation entered the chamber, led by Ambassador Alara Vorn. She was tall and imposing, with silvery blue skin and piercing violet eyes. Her demeanor was cold and calculating, reflecting the rigid hierarchical society of the Orions. Behind her, aides carried datapads and holographic displays, ready to present their case. On the opposite side, the Zircon delegation was led by General Xantheon, a towering figure with dark, scaled skin and a crest of spines along his back. His eyes glowed with a fierce intensity, and his presence exuded a warrior's resolve. The Zircons, known for their martial prowess, were not ones to back down easily. As the two delegations took their seats, the tension in the room was unmistakable. Jareth could sense the deep-seated animosity between them. Ambassador Vorn, General Theron, Jareth began, his voice steady. We are here to discuss the future of Xantheon. This planet holds great potential for both your peoples. It is imperative that we find a solution that benefits all. Alara Vorn's eyes narrowed. The Orion Confederacy has invested significant resources in the exploration and development of Xantheon. We have a right to claim its territories. Xantheon's voice rumbled with barely restrained anger. The Zircons have ancestral ties to Xantheon. Our forebears walked its surface long before the Orions ever set foot there. Jareth raised a hand to forestall further argument. Both of your claims have merit. But if we allow this dispute to escalate, it will lead to unnecessary bloodshed. We must find common ground. The negotiations were grueling. Days turned into weeks, with intense discussions, strategy sessions, and occasional heated arguments. Jareth often found himself mediating between two deeply entrenched positions. One evening, Jareth and Lena were in their quarters, reviewing the day's progress. Lena, ever resourceful, had been poring over ancient texts and cultural records. "Jareth, I found something interesting," Lena said, her eyes bright with excitement. "There's a legend of a sacred site on Xantheon that holds significant cultural value to both the Orions and the Zircons. If we could arrange a joint pilgrimage, it might foster a sense of shared heritage and unity." Jareth considered this. A symbolic gesture could indeed help break the impasse. "Let's present this idea at the next session." The next morning, Jareth stood before the assembly once more. "Ambassador Vorn, General Theron, I propose a joint pilgrimage to the sacred site on Xantheon. This site is a testament to the shared history of your peoples. By honoring this heritage, we can build a foundation for a peaceful future." There was a moment of silence as the delegates considered his proposal. Alara Vorn was the first to speak. "A joint pilgrimage. It is an interesting idea. It could show our commitment to peace." Rax Theron nodded slowly. "It is worth a try. But understand this, Ambassador Kord. If the Orions betray us, there will be consequences." Jareth inclined his head. "I understand, General. Trust must be built step by step." The day of the pilgrimage arrived. Delegates from both sides gathered at the edge of the sacred site, a vast, ancient temple covered in enigmatic carvings. The air was thick with anticipation and uncertainty. The temple was a magnificent structure, built from shimmering stone that seemed to glow with an inner light. Intricate carvings depicted scenes of ancient rituals and cosmic events, telling a story of unity and harmony that had long been forgotten. Jareth addressed the assembly, his voice echoing in the sacred silence. "Today, we stand on hallowed ground. This temple is a symbol of your shared past and a beacon for your future. Let us honor it together." Alara Vorn and Rax Theron stepped forward, side by side. The tension between them was quite visible, but there was also a glimmer of hope. As they entered the temple, the crowd held its breath. Inside, they discovered an ancient artifact, a glowing crystal that pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic light. It was a relic of a time when their ancestors had coexisted in harmony. Jareth watched as they emerged, holding the relic aloft together. This was the turning point they needed. The shared experience at the temple marked a significant shift in the negotiations. The Orions and Zircons, inspired by their common heritage, began to see each other not as enemies, but as potential allies. Negotiations resumed with renewed vigor and mutual respect. In the end, a historic agreement was reached. Xantheon would be jointly governed, its resources shared for the benefit of both civilizations. The peace was fragile, but it was a start, a beacon of hope in a galaxy fraught with conflict. Jareth Kord, exhausted but triumphant, knew that this was just the beginning. Diplomacy was a never-ending journey, but today he had steered the galaxy away from the brink of war.
Thanks for joining us on this thrilling adventure of Intergalactic Diplomat. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on how diplomacy can shape the stars.